Good morning, everyone. Morning. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat, ladies and gents, boys and girls. Kevin, all the way from Florida. Good to see you, mate. Chris, good morning to you. Well, there you go. Terrific Tuesday. It's all good. I hope you're all awesome and well, wherever you are. As always, welcome along. I'll do the quick intros as things are warming up. Jason Witten's my name. Most of you know that, but if you don't, and if you're new and you're dropping by, say a quick hello in the chat. Let us know where you are dialing in from, what you're up to as a property investor. We have been chatting about property investing and what's going on out in the marketplace for a little while now. A few years. My third year, been doing the Wealth Coffee Chats, been property investing well over 20 years myself and coaching property investors maybe just like you for this year coming on the, I think it's the 24th of January, something like that. Anyway, Positive Real Estate is 20 years old. We're going to have a bit of a celebration. But anyway, been coaching property investors for 20 years across Australia and New Zealand. And along the way, learnt a couple of things. And each morning we get together and we hang out. And we do a bit of a wealth coffee chat with you guys and share some of the things that I've learnt along the way. From investing myself, from coaching investors like you, and from investors teaching me. I'm always getting lessons from those that I meet and know from around the world. So that's awesome. There you go. Hey, Tim. Well done, mate. Well done. There you go. Well, great to see, mate. Awesome job in the pentathlon, hey? Yeah, that's a pretty tough event too. Mate, the Gold Coast put on not a bad bit of weather for the event, so awesome job. Hey, listen, today... yes, I'm exhausted. I bet you are, mate. I bet you are. Today, I thought we would talk about the idea of... 40th as well. Yeah, we'll have a party for sure, Alison. Make sure you pop along. Today I thought we'd talk about this idea of asset allocation. I don't know if anyone's ever heard this before. Financial planners and supposedly smart people use it to bamboozle us often as investors. And, I think we should talk about it. I think we should understand it as what we might be influenced by, exposed to, see, or need to understand as investors ourselves when we are allocating and investing our wealth into the future. So tell me in the chat while we're here, what sort of words have you heard professionals use when it comes to talking to you about investing? Investing in any sense. What sort of words that sound smart and highbrow and clever, but not necessarily you get the gist of? Chuck them in the chat. Let's get a little bit of banter going here. What do you hear? They try and bamboozle you or make it sound smart or difficult or whatever it might be. What sort of words? What sort of things do they say? You sit down, you have a meeting. Oh, listen, you've got some X or Y. You're not blah, blah, blah. Anyway, maybe my question's a bit cryptic, but if you do have an idea, if you've heard certain words before, then chuck them in the chat. Because what I do hear often from time to time, the words are, hey, you've got a certain amount of exposure. You're exposed, right? Exposed. You're not diversified. You don't have any, what's the other one? Need some spread. Have you got spread? What else? You have no liquidity. You got no liquidity. Bear and bull market. Yeah, there you go. So there's these conversations, these words, these ideas when it comes to investing, and it happens in property as well, where, we need to maybe break it down and understand and think about it. So I thought we might do that today. I mean, I pulled off just this thing like an asset allocation by investor profile, which is pretty interesting because the challenge, if you go and see any professional when it comes to property investing, what do 95% of those either accountants or financial planners say about property investing? Renovators delight. Yeah, that's not run a mile when you hear those words, Alison, for sure. So what financial planners and accountants, what do they say often? And I've heard this so many times. What do they say about property investing? All right. I've heard this before. Oh, it's risky. Okay, well, what's your definition of risk? Don't leave the house. Borrowing is a problem or a danger, so how do we make sense of this? And that's what I thought we'd sort of have a bit of a look at today. Have a look at this. This is an allocation thing that I just pulled off the internet. Interesting. This is how you diversify or allocate your investment portfolio. 20% in stocks, okay? 55% in bonds and 25% in cash. Cash is trash. It goes backwards in value, right? And we know this as property investors. We can do better than that. So thought we might play a little bit of a game today and do this. So get your fingers at the ready or your thumbs at the ready when it comes to analysing, understanding, taking a look at where we might talk about or think about when it comes to investing as ourselves. So let's do this. Let's do low, medium, high, the in cost, how much money you've got to put in, leverage, income that's produced from it, growth, tax effective, risk, liquidity, time, allocate, etc. Let's have a little matrix and talk about what it might be. So let's do the principal place of residence. All right, tell me in the chat, what do you think? How much as a percentage, low, medium or high, does it cost you to get into your own home, your principal place of residence, the upfront cost, And we can just put this in approximate terms. That's why I did low, medium, high. We could have scored it 1 out of 10 or something like this, but I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to put a medium cost to get into your own home. Why is it medium? It's not high. Well, Chris is saying high. I think it's medium. There's probably a bit, in my head, I'm thinking about the difference in how much upfront you've got to put in. But, when it comes to leverage or stamp duty, Chris, you're probably saying, oh, you've got to pay for stamp duty and other things. We'll have a little look at that. What about the in-cost of investment properties, all right? Low. Well, yeah, that's true, Sharon. If it's a first home buyer, you could get in there so depending on where you're at, 20% plus stamps, maybe even if it was 10% plus stamps on the way in, Chris, that's still a lot of money, right? So let's have a look at this across here, right? So I would say for me, folks, I would say business is high, it's all cash in, there's no leverage starting a new business. Investment properties, again, I would put medium. Direct shares. Now, direct shares, this is an interesting one. Do you get any leverage on direct shares? We'll talk about that in a minute. So I'm going to say high for direct shares. Joint ventures, high. And crypto, high in, because you've got to pay for it in cash, right? So you've got to pay all. It doesn't necessarily mean the dollar amount, but you think about this. So anyway, roll with me here for the leverage, because I want to sort of I want to put some rationale around these things so we can understand a little bit. Leverage, when it comes to principal place of residence, right? Now, sometimes the high is a good thing, and sometimes the high is not so good. So let's do this. Should have thought this through. I'm going to make them red, and I'm going to make these kind of a blue, right? Okay, but let's do leverage when it comes to the world of principal place of residence. Like Sharon said before, and Chris, you can get high leverage. Oh. You can get high leverage there. What about investment properties? Yeah, you can get high leverage as well. Direct shares, low. Joint ventures, low. You can't borrow against them. Crypto, low. Very difficult in business, low, right? So leverage, right? If we have a look at this now, if we go, yeah, high and high, that's great. And if we go low, 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 all right, maybe this is sort of, we should do like a green light or red light, you know, something like that. So think about this, income. When we're having a look at our income from these assets, all right? Let's have a look at this. Income from your principal place of residence, low or zero, none. I would say this is medium. Direct shares, medium. Joint ventures, high. Crypto, question mark. It could be anything. I would say high. Business, high. Business, high. Great for income, right? So let's go ahead and, you know, again, have a look at those. Right, low. No income there, okay? We would do a medium and a medium in there. And over here, incomes are high, right? Joint ventures high. Crypto could be high. Now, I'm not a big fan of crypto, by the way, for me. So you can sort of see as we go through here, the matrix in comparison to the others. And you get a bit of an idea of what is going on. I don't know if this is confusing to you, but the reality is we need to understand things that we invest in. Growth. All right, principal place of residence, certainly medium. Investment, direct shares, medium. Joint ventures, low, no growth in those. Crypto, high. Business can be high. What about tax effective? All right, principal place of residence, medium for sure. Investment properties, high. Highly tax effective. And depending on your principal place of residence, depending on how you use it, it could go to high. Direct shares, medium. Joint ventures, low. Crypto, low. Business, high. And so on, right? So as we do the analysis team, you know, how does it work? How does it roll out? Risk in a principal place of residence, really low in your principal place of residence. Investment properties, I would put that low. A lot of people would say otherwise. I would put direct shares low. I would put joint ventures as high. I would put crypto as high, and I would put business as high, right? Now, let's talk about liquidity. What does liquidity mean? Liquidity means the speed at which you can sell those assets and get the cash back, all right? Let's have a look at that. Principal place of residence, liquidity, I would say medium. Investment properties, medium. Direct shares, high liquidity. Joint ventures, low. Crypto, high. And business, low, right? Time frame, how long do we have to wait? Well, you have to wait a long time for these, all right? Direct shares as well. Joint ventures, a short time frame. Crypto, high. And I'd say business, medium. So, what does all this mean? How do we bring it together when we're having a look at these things, all right? You know, how could we allocate or take a look at what might work for us as property investors? Let's go through and have a look at growth. In here, we're looking at tax effective, high, right? All right, what about the other stuff? All right, direct shares, liquidity, high. Time, joint ventures, high. Liquidity in crypto, high. Risk, high. Yeah, okay. Tax effective, high in business. Growth, high. Crypto, high. All right, let's have a look at where we wouldn't want to go. All right, time, I don't think that's terrible when it comes to the risk. Low, low, and low. Risk, high, high, and high. And let's have a look at this, right? Medium, medium. Low, low, low. They should be green. So, green, green, green. Tax effective, growth. So it's just a bit of a vomit on the screen, let's be honest, right? A bit of a vomit on the screen. But when you see here, the point for me is, oh, you can't really tell the difference between green and blue. Anyway, you can see where the reds are, ladies and gents. You can see where the reds are, okay? And as a percentage, in my world, you want to minimize your exposure to the red stuff, right? The red stuff, which is where the risk might lie. This is green, by the way, this color. You can't really see that on the screen. So I would sort of say over this side of the equation, your principal place of residence, I'm going to do another color so that makes it better. Let's do purple. Over this side of the equation, which is your principal place of residence, investment properties and direct shares, that's where the least risk or the lower risk is. There's only a few things, and it's the time frame down here, which really at the end of the day, that shouldn't be red, let's face it. That's probably, I would say, I'm going to change that to not be red. I'm going to change that to be blue, right? So the risk is here, okay? The risk is there, okay? For me, this is where we would put, I would say in the world of, this is where you would have 80% or more of your wealth in your principal place of residence, your investment properties, maybe some direct shares. That's where the majority of your wealth should be because the risk is low. And then over here, you might look at a maximum of 20% exposure, allocation, putting stuff into those other assets. Tell me, over here, tell me one of the rules, if you're thinking about this, that 20%, one of my rules about investing in things that have a higher risk profile, but you could get a higher return out of them. What is the number one rule if you invest in things like joint ventures, crypto, business, like outside of these passive income vehicles? Tell me in the chat, what would be a rule, a kind of a foundational piece when it comes to investing in things that carry maybe a higher risk, a higher return, but get more exposure or whatever it might be? What would be my number one rule, or what would be a number one rule? Take the profit. Yep, absolutely. Take the profit often, Ashley. Yep. Turn it over, take the profit. One of the things, let's say here, it's a big vomit on the screen right now, isn't it? Let's say here, let me do this. Let's say you have $1 million. Let's say you got $1 million bucks. You got $1 million, and you're going to put 800K in here, and then you're going to put 200K over here. Okay, you can't even see that. Diversify, spread the risk. Yeah. It's a bit of a vomit, isn't it? You can't really see that. The point I'm trying to make is, if you put money into this area here, team, you must be able to survive. Life must be able to go on if what happens? This investing here should not affect any of this investing. This investing should go on forever if this has any risk. If you lose that 200 grand because you put it all in crypto and it went down the toilet, you will not have these things at risk. Everyone cool with that? Everyone understand what I mean? And probably a long way around going to a point that I was trying to make today. Oh, hang on. We got another spammer in here today. All right, give me 2 seconds. Right at the end too. I think we got a spam bot again. I'm trying to make over here. Don't click on that link, you lot. Add. Block YouTube user. All right, hopefully that's blocked. Anyway, I wouldn't click on that link if I was you. Yeah, there's probably... Yeah, we've got some spam bots jumping on the live this morning. Anyway, there you go. I'm done and dusted with a Wealth Coffee Chat. I don't know. Did you like my picture? Does it make sense? It looks like a bit of a colourful vomit here right now. But at the end of the day, the conversation is this. If you've got property, you've got investment properties, you've got direct shares, you've got a portfolio of wealth, you're storing it 80% in really simple but understandable long-term investments, then you need to find these bloody spam bots. Anyway, there you go. All right, I need to turn off the live because the spam bots are getting into me. Anyway, there you go. You know you made it when your spam bots are finding you. Anyway, team, that's it. It's done and dusted. Over and out. Join me tomorrow for another Wealth Coffee Chat. If you're up for it, let me know. Got to go. Adios, team. Bye-bye.